Welcome back to RGR, football fans. Another good morning, hopefully another good piece of information as we get ready for the NFL draft. You can get my draft guide over at rogueapc.com and use that code MATRIXRGR and you get a chunk of it off. I'm looking forward to that. Working on a number of things, but this morning, I want to get to the back half of that talk I had with Josh Briscoe over at 810 Sports. I think you guys will like that. And quite frankly, we're going to cover those bases. Now, we have the mock draft live on Thursday night. We'll get into some of these topics as well as we see how it's spinning this week. Again, this is all a simulation, but it's worth the effort, I think. If you missed any of Dan's videos this week, go back and check those out as well because he's putting in a lot of work. He's got a rant. He's got a couple of things. Friday, Danilo will be back with a draft crush. And then next week, we start full force. Sunday, we got something special for you with some friends of ours. And then we're going to get into as many guests as I can cram into the week as we get ready for the live stream of draft night. Round one, the entire thing will be live streaming. You can have a watch party. In fact, I know some of you are. I appreciate that. Let us know where you are. Send us some pictures on social media and whatnot. And you can do it all. We're going to be back on the second day as well. And then day three, we're going to pop in and out around when the Chiefs are making selections. So we have a ton planned for you. Today, second half of that talk with Josh, I want you to get a piece of that. If you're new to the channel, like, sub, and the bell notification. The three things you got to do so you don't miss anything before the NFL draft. Hope you guys dig this, and I'll talk to you again later.
I want to talk about the edges as well, because the way that some of these mocks have been falling, I keep finding myself looking at a guy like Jayson Oweh, who has also performed very, 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 very well in a lot of the athletic matrix sort of things. His 40-yard dash as an edge rusher is alien stuff, but I also know that a lot of those guys, once you're looking at the 31-ish range, everyone's going to have a red flag. Everyone's going to have some development to do, but are you as enamored with his tools at this point as I am?
I think he's a heck of an athlete. I'm just not sure if he's a football player yet, especially for the NFL level.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets by on his athleticism at the college level, and from the film that I've watched, it's there. Like, I can see a path to getting to the point where he can dominate that edge, especially for some reason, in my opinion, over on the left-hand side, which I like, especially with where Frank likes to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to say, where he is developmentally right now is so raw that even me, a person who puts a lot of value in the athletic traits that show your ceiling, I still couldn't take him in the top 50.
Wow,
because
okay.
the value of that pick is not going to pay off for you in year one. It might not pay off in year two. It's going to take a concerted effort to develop specific football skills that can match that functional athleticism.
I want to take all of that and give it to Steve Spagnuolo and see what comes out on the other side of it. But I also think that if you just went, and then how did that go for Tanoh Kpassagnon? I think I would put my tail between my legs and walk away.
Yeah, I'm not going to drop that one either.
It's just, I don't know, man. So okay, let's do this then. Let's go edges. If they end up, say, moving up for Jenkins, or if we end up saying, you know what, I like Cosmi well enough at 31, and they go that direction. Because I do still expect them to add an edge somewhere throughout this draft class. What are you enamored by if you get outside of that top 50?
You know, the hard thing for me is what I'm enamored by is a little bit more classic than what I think Steve Spagnuolo wants. He wants length. He wants power. You're not going to play for Steve Spagnuolo at 250 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it reduces the group in this class, I think. And I think really the value point may be in the late third, maybe even early fourth, especially when you consider the Chiefs are probably going to continue their plan of rotation.
Yep.
You want to make sure that you get Taco Charlton enough opportunities to take a step forward. As long as he can avoid the injury, I do think that he still has upside in him and that step forward is on the table. So it comes down to who can give you, 15, 20 snaps a game as a rookie and actually produce something. And who can be the next Mike Danna, but maybe with a more dedicated pass rush element rather than the all-around that I think Mike Danna is.
Mm-hmm.
And both the guys at Notre Dame come back to me as guys that I think Spags would like to see what he can get out of them, especially with Brennan Daly in there working with them every single day. There's others. Deo from Vanderbilt, like the injury is really concerning, but I like some of the things I've seen on film from him. Certainly Osai is an interesting creature. The arm length is probably something Spags would really like. I don't know if the bulk is there or if he wants to modify a little bit. But there's definitely some guys that don't have to be a top 50 selection that I think may fit what the staff would like to see done.
I also wanted to talk about receivers, and one guy that I have just seen, this is mostly me just riding the wave that Tucker Franklin and Jordan Foote have put out through their many, many mock drafts. I was not expecting it to go this way, though, whenever I looked at the athletic matrix at the receiver position for the first time. Josh I, as I like to call him. His last name, it can be pronounced in a number of ways. Josh from Illinois. He shows up at the end of their mocks every time, to the point that I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah. I'm here for just a seventh round receiver to fall in love with for whatever reason. I don't need that big of an excuse. But his athletic testing looks like it must have been absolutely tremendous. Are you enamored by him? And also, how can he have the explosion that he does without being a higher ranked prospect?
That's the big question, is why doesn't that testing translate to the field? Or why hasn't it yet?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not say that it can't, because I don't know that. Mm-hmm. But that was exactly my question, because I came to him late as a prospect as well. And the only thing that I can see is that there's raw skills there, but there's not refinement there. So I don't know the backstory of like how long has he been playing the position? Is he a late transition to that like McCole was? Or is there just something in the way there that doesn't put all the capability together? But frankly, that's what the matrix is for, is to identify those guys that, hey, maybe you coach him up, maybe you get him in an NFL wide receiver room, and all of a sudden things start to click. Or because it's their job, there are no distractions. Yeah. At least not like they're trying to go to school or anything else.
Right.
Maybe that's where it gets done, and maybe you can live up to that potential. But certainly late day 3, that jumps off the page as, hey, that's worth an investment to try to put that time in and see what that coaching can develop.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I love that, the little jump off the page that maybe didn't show up on film but shows up through the athletic matrix. Can you give a quick sales pitch on the matrix before we let you go? What people can see there and how they can find the other guys on these lists that you might go, oh, wait a second, maybe this is worth an extra shot.
Well, it's an interesting process. I come from a strength conditioning coaching background. I'm an exercise physiologist, and so I've done this over 20 years in terms of tracking what works in different combinations of what the skill sets are at different positions. And that's what I do, is I combine them. They are composite scores. It's not a percentile or anything like that, like you see a lot of other comparisons. And so you get a more functional idea of what they have to do on the football field, and that reveals a few things. And so by doing that, I rank them all out, and what the matrix is an athletic ranking of potential. Some that have been realized, and some like Josh that haven't, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really what it's for. It does not replace scouting. It does not replace the need for coaching, but it gives you a window into what the potential is. And that's really what it comes down to. Then we pair that with the draft guide from Rogue Analytics as well, and add in the production to complement what you can get from a lot of the professional outside scouts and people that put in the time of watching a lot more film than I do, which I scratch the surface on most guys. I don't dig deep. So you put it all together, and it gives you a wider picture of what not the stars are, but that middle ground, guys that fall between 60 and 130. That's where the gold is that can reveal.
I'm so excited to have this again by my side on draft day and be able to see what you saw and how the Chiefs use that and that information and the kind of athletes they find. You can also get more from Ryan through RGR Football up on YouTube, everything with Rogue Analytics. Find it all the links. Ryan is one of the guys that can rival me in terms of numbers of links and things in his bio on Twitter. So go at Ryan Tracy NFL on Twitter. Ryan, thank you for braving a snowstorm to talk to us tonight.
Thanks for the patience. I appreciate it.
It's always worth it. A good 15 minutes from Ryan will make everybody smarter enough to think that, you know what? I could right now, if I had to, fight a bear in the Rocky Mountains in the middle of a snowstorm.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.